Good morning. Thought I'd just bring you on a little tour of our outdoor veg garden. If you were watching any of the videos from last year, you'll see how we went about creating it, and this is the garden a year on. So the first thing you'll notice is all this netting, and if you're following any of my social media channels, you know that we have a problem with cats. We have 4 of our own cats, and we seem to attract all the neighbouring cats. So this first bit of knitting is Enviromesh, and apart from keeping the cats off mostly, it's also a really good barrier for flea beetles and carrot root fly. As you can see, it's very fine mesh, but the water will go through. So it's a handy one to have, a good investment, I think. So this bed I have planted carrots, and there's spinach and beetroot, and there's some lettuce, and I've actually just started from seed last year some asparagus, so we're just running that along the edge. Over to this bed, this kind of netting here is used to keep the cabbage white butterfly out, or any of the butterflies that like to lay their eggs on the brassica plants. And here I have purple sprout and broccoli, I have kale, various kales actually, and all of these were started off from seed in the polytunnel. So they're coming on nicely, hanging on in there. I planted those over the weekend. Here you can see we have some climbing beans. Again, these were started in the polytunnel a few weeks ago, and they're now sat there, hopefully going to start heading up these canes soon. Climbing beans like to twirl around the canes, whereas peas, which are next door, have these little tendrils which hang on to anything they can find. So in this instance I have put in a couple of posts and some string. I actually have to thank Gareth Austin up in Donegal for that one, because it's probably the simplest method of keeping beans in track that I've come across. Again, more kind of barriers to try and keep the cats out. I'm figuring that they won't like it if it's bouncy. So far so good. Here we have the herbs, so lots of chives and parsley in there that I was using for demonstration purposes for some online classes. Now seem to have a lot of. It would be, bees love chives. Really lovely, cheerful one to have in the garden, and they make a really nice edging plant as well. And you eat them. We've been having them in potato salads lately. Then over in this bed we have different chards, lettuce, some onions I sowed from seed, planted a little bit close I suspect, but it's my first time growing onions from seed. Usually I buy the sets, so I'm just watching and observing how they go. The garlic is coming on beautifully. Here we have some early potatoes, a bit slow really, but then it was such a cold spring. There's the bug man. Mr. G made him for Electric Picnic a few years ago, and he hangs out in our garden now. Some more garlic here that was rescued from another garden, and then I ended up planting some main crop potatoes here. I have to keep an eye out for blight this weekend. Read reports of a very humid weekend planned, and something to be aware of. And then here this year I've moved some rhubarb into this bed, and it's coming on nicely. Again, as you can see, everything is netted now to keep the cats at bay, and hopefully it works. I'm trying all sorts of things. You might see as well, if you've been following any of this, finally laid the gravel. I had a real conundrum on what to lay here. I was advised against gravel because it can be high maintenance, but wood chip dogs would use to go to the toilet, and we just don't have the time at the moment to lay cement. So all the rest of the paths in the garden are gravel, and it just finishes it off. But we may end up removing it from there and laying cement or blocks or paths, slabs around in the longer term. Either that, or I might have to invest in a leaf blower. But anyway, we'll give it a go and we'll see how it is. So that's the garden today. Hope you enjoyed the little tour. And I'll just actually point that out. The tree, this was an apple tree. It had very bad canker. It was actually in the way of this new outdoor area we've created so that I can have some workshops here. And its days are numbered, but for the moment we've hacked it like I've seen many trees being hacked, which we consider really bad practice, just to see what happens, because it's one thing me keep telling everybody this is bad practice, but I actually want to observe in my own garden what happens when you prune a tree so radically. So that's why that's there. And that's it for the moment. Stay well, happy gardening, and I'll catch you again soon.